Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the Ford Expedition Platinum. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo, Utah for giving me some time with this Expedition. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Johnny. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Expedition Platinum is a twin-turbo 3.5-liter V6. It goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 480 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, just like the F-150, it's flat there in the center and then raised on either side. Now you guys can see here with the headlights and the daytime running lights, I think that's pretty cool. And then notice how that continues in, well, it doesn't continue, but it like matches with the trim that you have in the grille. So it kind of like all pulls together. And then you can see we've got fog lights there at the bottom. We've got tow hooks as well. And putting it all together, I do think that the front end of the Expedition Platinum looks pretty sweet. Coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285, 45, 22 in the front and over in the rear as well. And you guys can see here with the wheel design, I think it looks pretty cool. Anyways, you guys can see here with the cuts there on the fender, and then notice platinum down below, and then you got the silver trim on the running boards, and then notice on the bottom part of the windows, and then on the door handles, and then also on the mirror. Now this is the max version of the Expedition, so it's a little bit longer, but you guys can see the side view regardless. So here's our key fob for the Expedition. You guys can see we've got our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the Ford logo there on the back. I guess we'll pop that open. So popping into the rear of the Expedition Max, you guys can see there's quite a bit of storage space behind the third row here, and we've got even more storage under there, kind of. Anyways, we've got these buttons right here that will lower down the third row. You can also raise them up. With the second row, you can only lower it down. And then popping up to the top there, you can just press that button and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now here are the taillights on the Expedition, and you guys can see Expedition there in the center, and then notice Max down below, and then Platinum there on the other side. We do have parking sensors there at the bottom, as well as the receiver hitch that's underneath that bezel. And then let me know what you think about the looks on this Expedition Platinum. Do you think they did enough with the Platinum package to differentiate it from the other Expeditions? I think that it looks pretty similar. Now taking a look at the rear door panel, you guys can see the stitching here, and then look at this design. That looks really cool. And then look at the trim that goes across, and then a couple speakers here for the sound system. And then here are the seats, notice perforated all down the center portion. Look at that design right there. I think that looks pretty cool. Now inside, legroom back here is actually really good. Got a storage pocket. You guys can see we've got some cup holder action. And then we've got our own climate zone back here, heated seats. We've got some charging ports, and headroom's good. And then in the third row, legroom's actually really good. I can also recline my seat if I want, which is pretty fancy. I got some storage space here with a little charging port. And look how nice these seats look in the third row with the design that goes down the center. And then also, headroom's good back here. Now with the front door panel, you guys can see with the stitching design, and look at the pattern down below, and then look at this trim right here. All of our window controls right here. The mirrors do power fold in. You've got your memory seat function, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then let's look at the front seat here. Look at Platinum right there, and then perforated all down the center. Really cool design overall. And then we have our power adjustments here on the side. And then you can also adjust the pedals. You've got your light control, and then notice for the seats, and then you've got that for the hatch to open it, steering wheel adjustment, and then look at this trim here. That looks pretty nice. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see really nice trim all around, and then look at the contrasted stitching in the center. And then I do like the faded Ford logo. I think that's pretty cool that they do that on the Platinums. Controls for the center stack. You've got your adaptive cruise control. This also has like the steering assist, and then your turn signal windshield wiper stalk. Now I've got this full digital gauge cluster. We can scroll through a bunch of different menus, see different bits of info on the vehicle, systems within the vehicle. Pretty standard stuff. We do have a bunch of different drive modes, which apparently the camera doesn't want to focus on them. But the big stuff's like sport, towing, right? And then you do have some off-road modes as well. And I'm not sure anyone would take this version of the Expedition off-road. Now I do have this cool 360 camera system. Then you guys can see I can even zoom in as well. And then you have all the other viewpoints with this. So really good system overall. Starting at the bottom of the infotainment system, we've got our little buttons here for your heated and cooled seats. So for the heated seat, just pull that and you can go down to the cold function if you want. Heated steering wheel as well, your climate controls, volume control, and then notice we got the secondary tab up above, so you can see what's got like the phone media stuff, and then you got the radio above that. And then if we actually press, we'll do this one first. You can see this will let us access stuff like our Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so all those apps. And if we press the little Expedition, then this will pull up even more stuff. I know it's quite a bit. Like we can pop on the camera if we want, for example. This has Ford's Pro Trailer Assist. We've got our trailer brake controls integrated from the factory. And then you can see here at the bottom, we've got this for the auto stop, start, turn it off, and then hazard lights, stability control, and then for the defroster. And look at this. Nice wood trim there. That covers up our wireless phone charging pad with some USBs. You can see the 12 volt right next to it. And then we got more of this nice wood trim that covers up the cup holders. Shifter here for the 10-speed automatic. You got a manual mode too. Notice the rear locking differential, and then your plus and minus to shift gears yourself if you want. And then your driveline select, 2-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. Drive mode select built into that too. Hill descent control, and then your parking assist. There is more storage here on the side, and then this has the center console out of the F-150, so it's massive. And it's got some nice trim all over. And then look at the double glove box setup here. Pretty cool. And then yeah, you got nice trim there on the dash. And then up top we got like a sunglass holder, controls here for the full panoramic sunroof as well. Now here's our window sticker for the Expedition Max. Again, this has the Platinum Package 600A. Got a few options added to it. Anyways, total MSRP $90,595. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Expedition. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors. Just do a blind spot monitoring and then throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let us set off. She will turn the heated steering wheel because it's cold today. My body was like starting to get accustomed to, you know, I'd say like 50-degree weather on average. And now it's back to, well, 30 degrees. So my body's like, I don't like this. And it's like, hey, bub, deal with it. Deal with it. But anyways, it'll be interesting. By the way, I'm using this video for my Expedition review if I end up making that review, which might end up not happening because of snow. And also I'm going to be using it for the Expedition versus Navigator review. But, you know, let's just talk about how the Expedition Platinum drives. So first off, seats are actually pretty dang comfortable. Good torque out of that engine, that's for sure. Yeah, having a twin turbo powertrain at higher elevation definitely helps out quite a bit. Now, aside from that, ride quality is really good. That's one thing that's nice about these big full-size SUVs is they're just so comfortable. Oh, we got lucky. Yeah, they're super, super comfortable. Let's see how this thing goes. Yeah, this thing's powerful, man. Moves. That wasn't even like full throttle. This thing moves. But yeah, summing things up here with the Expedition Platinum, I think this is a really for an Expedition, I think it's a good looking vehicle. I think the interior is definitely like the star of the show, right? This interior looks really high quality, especially for like Ford's not necessarily known to have like, it's not like their interiors are bad, but like they usually focus more on like, you know, function over form, whereas this has some nice, you know, elements to it, especially in the door panel. Now, aside from that, I'm trying to think what else you guys might want to know about. Seats are, I would say that, you know, seats really comfortable. I just don't know if there's a reason to get this over a Limited. I think the Limited is probably the sweet spot for the Expedition because you get all of the same features this has and it's going to be less money. Let me know which one you'd go, Limited or Platinum, but I think the Limited would probably be the route to go. And well, if you're tuning in with the Navigator comparison, then well, we're going to be popping into the Navigator. See ya.